విల్ గెట్ స్టార్టెడ్ అండి. సో మనము ప్రధానంగా లాస్ట్ వీక్ వి స్పోక్ అబౌట్ మైండ్ అండ్ ఎబిలిటీ ఫర్ ద మైండ్ టు మేక్ థింగ్స్ హ్యాపెన్ ఫర్ మీ. సో ఇక్కడ మనలో అందరికీ ఉన్న ఒకానొక ప్రశ్న ఏంటి అంటే, నా క్రియ వల్ల నా కర్మ ఎలా తగ్గుతుంది అనేది. ఇది చాలా ఇంపార్టెంట్ సబ్జెక్ట్, ఎందుకంటే ఇది కొంచెం పై స్థాయి ఉన్న సబ్జెక్ట్ కూడా. అంటే ఉపనిషత్తులని అవగాహన చేసుకుంటే వాటిలో నిక్షిప్తమైన నిగూఢంగా ఇచ్చిన శ్వాస మహావిజ్ఞానంలో, అంటే మహాయోగంలో వీటి గురించి క్లుప్తంగా డిస్కస్ చేస్తారన్నమాట. అంటే ఇలా స్థాయిలో ఉంటే ఇలా ఉంటుంది, ఇలా ఉంటే ఇలా నడుస్తుంది అని. సో మనం దాని గురించి ఈరోజు కొంచెం విపులంగా ఎగ్జాంపుల్స్ తోటి తెలుసుకుందాం. ఒకటి నెంబర్ 1. నెంబర్ 2 ఏంటంటే సాధన పూర్వకంగా దాన్ని ఎలా నేను అనుభవయోగ్యంగా చేసుకోవాలి, రెండవది తెలుసుకుందాం. తద్వారా వచ్చే ఒడిదుడుకులు ఎలా ఉంటాయి కూడా తెలుసుకుందాం. మనం లాస్ట్ వీక్ బాగా విస్తృతంగా తెలుసుకున్న విషయం ఏంటంటే, నేను చేసే గంట సేపు చేసే నా సాధన నా 23 గంటల్ని ఎలా నిక్షిప్తం చేస్తుంది, ఎలా అది నాకు ఉపయోగపడుతుంది అని మాట్లాడాం. ఆ సందర్భంగానే మనము ఏ విట్నెస్, ఏ అబ్జర్వేషన్, ఒక సాక్షిత్వాన్ని ఎలా నేను పెంపొందించుకోవాలి, దానికి అనుగుణంగా ఉన్న సాధన, ఆ సాధనని ఎలా మనం మన జీవితంలోకి అన్వయం చేసుకోవాలి, దాన్ని ఎలా మొదలు పెట్టాలి, దాని గురించి విశేషంగా మాట్లాడాం. సో అంటే నా 23 గంటల్లో 24 గంటల్లో ఒక గంట సాధన, 23 గంటలు, అందులో ఒక 6 గంటలు 8 గంటలు నిద్ర, పోతే మిగిలింది 16 గంటలు. ఈ 16 గంటలని నేను ఎలా నా యొక్క జీవితంలో ఈ యొక్క స్పిరిచువల్, అంటే నా యొక్క ఎదుగుదలకి, ఆధ్యాత్మిక ఎదుగుదలకి నేను ఎలా ఉపయోగించుకోవాలి అని దాని గురించి మాట్లాడాను. ఈరోజు ఏంటంటే దాన్ని ఇంకొంచెం లోతుగా తీసుకుని క్రియ గురించి మాట్లాడదాం. మనకందరికీ తెలిసిందే, కర్మ అంటే నేను చేసేది, క్రియ అంటే తనకు తానుగా జరగడము అంటే మన లోపల ఏదైతే జరుగుతుందో, మన బ్లడ్ ఫ్లో, మన హార్ట్ బీట్, మన శ్వాస, మన బ్రెత్, అలాగే మన కంటికి ఉన్న చూపులు, ఏవేవి అయితే మనకు ఉన్నాయో అవన్నీ కూడా ఆటోమేటిక్ గా లోపల జరుగుతున్నాయి. ఇట్ ఈస్ హ్యాపెనింగ్ ఇన్సైడ్ అవర్ బాడీ, రైట్, విచ్ వీ హ్యావ్ అబ్సల్యూట్లీ నో కంట్రోల్. వీ కమ్ విత్ దట్, వీ లీవ్ విత్ దట్. సో శ్వాసతోటి మనం పుడతాము, శ్వాసతోటి మనం పెరుగుతాము, శ్వాసతోటే మన జీవితాన్ని కూడా లెక్క వేసుకుంటాం. ఎంత వచ్చింది, ఎన్ని శ్వాసలు. సగటుగా మనము ప్రతిరోజు 21,600 శ్వాసలు తీసుకుంటాం. 21,600 బ్రెత్స్ వి టేక్ ఎవ్రీ డే. మినిట్కి 21 తీసుకుంటాం. కానీ ఏం జరుగుతోంది అంటే, నా వయస్సుని నేను తగ్గించుకోవడం, పెంచుకోవడం అనేది కూడా నా శ్వాసతోనే అనుసంధానమైంది. అందరూ ఏమంటారంటే, ఈశ్వరుడు నన్ను పంపించాడు, బ్రహ్మ నాకు రాశాడు అంటారు. బ్రహ్మరాత కాదు, శ్వాస రాత. నువ్వు శ్వాసలు ఎన్ని తీసుకుంటున్నావు అనే దాన్ని బట్టి నీ జీవితం నిర్ణయం అవుతుంది. అటు పైకి వెళ్ళొచ్చు, ఇటు కింద పడిపోవచ్చు. అంటే నా వయస్సు 100 సంవత్సరాలు నేను బతకాలని భూమి మీదకి వస్తే, నేను 80 ఏళ్లలోనే నా శ్వాసలు కంప్లీట్ చేసుకుని వెళ్ళిపోవచ్చు, లేదా 120 సంవత్సరాలు బతకచ్చు. సో ఇప్పుడు ప్రధానంగా నా జీవితాన్ని ఏది నిర్ణయిస్తోంది అంటే, నా శ్వాస నిర్ణయిస్తోంది. ఇట్ ఈస్ మై బ్రెత్ దట్ ఈస్ డిఫైనింగ్ మై లైఫ్ స్పాన్, హౌ లాంగ్ ఐఎమ్ గోనా లీవ్ ఇన్ దిస్ ఎర్త్. సో ఇప్పుడు ఈ శ్వాస ఎందుకు అనేటప్పటికీ ఆ క్వశ్చన్ ఎప్పుడు కూడా ఉంటుంది. ఎందుకు, వై ఐ షుడ్ బి విత్ మై బ్రెత్? The reason why we all should be with our breath is because it is kriya. It is not something that you are doing. It is happening on its own. Does it have any significance? Absolutely, it has significance. It is only the breath. If you really look at it, in your entire system, oh, so sorry, madam. I'll try to talk in English. हिंदी थोड़ा उर्दू का हिंदी रहेगा, थोड़ा मुश्किल है, but I'll talk in English. I'm sorry for that. So जो भी जब भी हम लोग श्वास लेते हैं तो क्या होता है, एक श्वास ही है अपना पूरा शरीर में, हर अंग पे, हर सेल के अंदर ये जाता है। क्यों में श्वास को पकड़ने का? जब तू श्वास को पकड़ेगा, तेरा हर अंग, एवरी पार्ट ऑफ योर बॉडी, एवरी सेल ऑफ योर बॉडी गेट्स एनर्जाइज्ड. There is no other way. There is absolutely no other way. Don't please think this twice. Okay? There is no other way. Anything else has the authority or ability to go into your entire system, not just my one body. Annamaya, Manomaya, Pranamaya, Vijnanamaya, Anandamaya, Nirvanamaya, Vishwamaya. We have 7 bodies inside. The body that I am seeing is the physical body, but I have 6 more bodies inside. Only the breath has the authority to go to all of them. And it not only goes and touches every piece of your cell, every piece of your subcell, it also has the authority to clean that. It has ability to cleanse it. It has ability to rejuvenate it, reset it, rewind it. You can do whatever you want to do with that breath. So most of the time what happens, if I am not able to connect with my breath, everything happens mechanical. If you really start to look at it, this has a very, very high significance. In the Upanishads, what they call about is, if you are consciously breathing, then you are connected to the Kriya process, which is happening on its own. Then there is no I. There is no individual I at that point. Because जब मैं क्रिया के साथ जोड़ता हूं खुद को, क्रिया अपने आप हो रही है. अपने आप होने में मेरा आइडेंटिटी कहाँ है? नहीं रहेगा. मेरा खुद का आइडेंटिटी गया उसके अंदर. वो कहां से हो रहा है? वो नेचर से हो रहा है, यूनिवर्स से हो रहा है. तो क्या होगा? मैं यूनिवर्सल कॉन्शियसनेस बन जाएगा. बिना कुछ करे, बिना कुछ करते, जब अपने आप हम लोग ये जो श्वास के ऊपर ऑब्जर्व करना शुरू करेंगे और उसके ऊपर लय होने का प्रयास करेंगे, तो अपने आप ऑटोमेटिकली व्हाट हैपेंस इज वी बिकम यूनिवर्सल कॉन्शियसनेस और सोल कॉन्शियसनेस. ये कहां से शुरू हुआ है, कहां से खत्म हो रहा है? श्वास कहां से आ रहा है? श्वास में क्या हो रहा है? श्वास में ऐसा क्या प्रक्रिया है जिससे मेरा बॉडी हील हो रहा है, राइट? मेरा हर अंग पे जा रहा है, मेरा ऊपर से नीचे तक जो भी हम लोगों का चक्रा क्लीनिंग बोलते हैं ना, मूलाधार से लेके सहस्रार तक जो भी हो रहा है, कैसा हो रहा है? एक ही जवाब है उसका. श्वास के अंदर जब भी आप श्वास लेते हैं, उसके साथ जो चीज अंदर आता है वो प्राण शक्ति बोलते हैं उसको. प्राण शक्ति. वो प्राण शक्ति के साथ अपना पूरा सिस्टम चल रहा है. जब मैं सो रहा हूं, वो प्राण शक्ति के हिसाब से ही मैं जी रहा हूं. जब वो शक्ति बढ़ेगा, वो शक्ति कैसा आ रहा है? अपने आप आ रहा है. इसमें मेरा इन्वॉल्वमेंट 0. बट फिर क्यों मेरा ऐसा जिंदगी ऐसा हो गया है? When you start to think back and understand why my life is like this, it is because you intervened in the kriya process and you made it karma. When you do karma, when you do your breath, you are creating karma. When it is happening on its own, you are creating kriya. Observing that which is happening on its own is witnessing, is observing, is soul consciousness. Becoming that is universal consciousness. अहम ब्रह्मास्मि बोलो तो मेरे को पता चल गया है मैं ब्रह्म का पदार्थ हूं बोल के. ये शरीर नहीं हूं, मैं ब्रह्म का पदार्थ हूं. पता चल गया है, आई गॉट इट. बट जब मैं इसको और भी ऊपर लेकर जाएगा तो क्या होएगा? मैं खुद नहीं है, सब लोग ऐसे ही है. वी आर ऑल पार्ट ऑफ द सेम ब्रह्म का पदार्थ से आया है. तो उससे क्या होगा? वी विल बिकम यूनिवर्सल कॉन्शियसनेस. जब you become universal consciousness, there is nothing that you will not know what is happening in universe. इसीलिए अपना परम गुरु लोग जो भी देखते हैं, जो भी दिखता है, जो भी आता है, यूनिवर्सल कॉन्शियसनेस बन गया, तो जहां पे भी कुछ भी होने दो, हम लोगों को पता चलेगा यूनिवर्सल कॉन्शियसनेस है। इसका आधार किससे हो रहा है? श्वास के साथ हो रहा है। इट इज ओनली टू ब्रेथ। द एंटायर योगा सिस्टम runs with breath. There is no other way. You can get anything else without breath. Number one. Number two, जब मैं योगा में बैठता हूं, ये योगा करने के लिए मेरे को एलिजिबिलिटी मांगता है, योग्यता, राइट? अरे यार, कुछ पाने के लिए कुछ खोने क्या है, हम लोग हिंदी में बोलते हैं, कुछ पाने के लिए कुछ खोने के, क्या खोने क्या है, क्या पाने के लिए क्या खोने क्या है? यहाँ पे सब कुछ अपने आप हो रहा है। जब अपने आप सब कुछ हो रहा है, हम लोगों को क्या दिक्कत है? जो चल रहा है चलने दे, तू बीच में क्यों अड़ा रहा है? आई डोंट नो, थोड़ा उर्दू का हिंदी आ रहा है। I'll try to talk in English. It's probably easier, Durga. Otherwise, I keep asking you. So, uh, so what happens is, it is we as I as an individual, right? I as me, I'm intervening in that process that is happening on its own. When I start to intervene that process, it becomes my karma. तभी तू श्वास अंदर ले रहा है, बाहर छोड़ रहा है. Whatever you are taking inside, whatever you are leaving outside, at what length you are doing it, at what breadth, at what width, at what deep, वो सब के हिसाब से तेरा कर्म आ रहा है. कर्मा का जज कहाँ पे आ रहा है? तेरा श्वास के साथ आ रहा है. जब मेरे को गुस्सा आता है, मेरा श्वास बढ़ जाता है, एंड इट शॉर्टन्स. आई नेवर टेक माई ब्रेथ एट ए बेली लेवल, राइट? श्वास को कैसा लेना है, उपनिषद बोलता है, शास्त्र में क्लियरली बोलता है कि नाड़ी के साथ. जब नाड़ी, जो भी नाड़ी है, अमृत बिंदु, अमृत बिंदु कहाँ पे है? अपना नावल एरिया में है. स्टमक के नावल एरिया में अमृत बिंदु रहते हैं. वहां से 2,72,000 नाडीज connect from that. If you are able to take the breath deep and long, आपका श्वास के साथ प्राण शक्ति आपका सब नाड़ी मंडल पे जाएगा. It goes into the nadi mandal and it cleanses the whole system. What is happening? You are cleansing the karma within the DNA cells. अपना जो भी सेल्स है अंदर में, एक एक सेल के ऊपर थोड़ा मेमोरी रहता है. उसके अंदर अपना पूर्व जन्म का, ये जन्म का, आगे का जो जन्म है, उसमें क्या होने का है, वो सब निक्षिप्त रहता है. एवरी सेल इज हैज मेमोरी. उसको क्लियर करने का है. कैसा क्लियर करेंगे? जब आपका श्वास अंदर जाता है, वो अमृत बिंदु के साथ वो नाड़ी में एंटर होके वहां पे जाके वो सेल का जो भी है क्वालिटीज, जो भी इम्प्यूरिटीज है, नेगेटिविटी है, वो सबको जब क्लीन करता है, प्राण शक्ति जब उस पर जाता है, वो क्लेंजिंग, क्लीनिंग, हीलिंग प्रोसेस होएगा. इन दैट प्रोसेस, विदाउट यू डूइंग एनीथिंग, द क्रिया योगा इज एक्चुअली killing or deleting all your karma. Why a yogi gets all those siddhis? Because he has cleansed his body, he has cleansed his system. उसका there is no mind for him. अभी मेरा क्या हो रहा है? एक ही चीज हो रहा है. My mind is always there. My mind is the one that's telling me what to do, what not to do. योगी में क्या होता है? एक योगी को देखेंगे आप, उसको माइंड नहीं रहेगा. जो नेचुरली हो रहा है वो होने देता है. तो अभी मैं योगी बनने का क्या क्या करने का? The first thing what we all have to understand, it is the breath. The simplest of the simplest thing is the breath. If I connect to my breath, if I become one with my breath, there is nothing else you need to do in your life. There is no penance, there is no puja, there is no vrat, there is no mantra, there is no japa, there is no homa. You don't have to do anything else, because that breath is your life consciousness, awareness, right? Earlier हम लोग बात करते थे कि here in the previous call we were talking about Ramayana you know, I just want to connect to that, right? Ramayan kahan pe ho raha hai? Bolte Ramayan. I said Ramayan andar ho raha hai. ये क्या है? रामायण तो बाहर हुआ, राम तो है, सीता है, लक्ष्मण है, सब है, बोलते ये सब एक एक सिंबल्स है. राम का सिंबल, राम इज द सिंबल फॉर आत्मा. रा का मतलब है he is the entity है, he is light. रा का मतलब लाइट है, मा का मतलब within, the light within is Rama. So it is your soul. सीता का सिंबल क्या है? सीता का सिंबल इज माइंड, material, world, whatever you are connected. सीता का, right? श्वास पवनपुत्र. हनुमान कहां पे है? श्वास. साधका है हनुमान. अवेयरनेस लक्ष्मण. दशरथा 10 गुण. कर्मेंद्रियास ज्ञानेन्द्रियास 10 गुण. कौशल्य कौशलम. कौशलम बोलो तो बुद्धि कुशलता. वो कौशल के साथ ये 10 गुणों को लेके आके हम लोग जब ध्यान करेंगे, श्वास को पकड़ेंगे, पवन पुत्र के साथ करेंगे, जब अपना अवेयरनेस बढ़ के हम लोग आत्मा के सीता को लेके आत्मा में जुड़ेंगे. मनस्सु दिमाग, दिमाग दिमाग को लेके आत्मा में, सोल पे. सो रामायण कहां पे हो रहा है? मेरा अंदर हो रहा है, कहीं नहीं हो रहा है. ये तत्व ज्ञान है. Kalyan, go ahead.
Oh, just one quick question. So, Ante Mirindaka, you were comparing the state of mind that one should be when so the influence of the mind should not be as much. Like for a yogi, the influence of the mind is very minimal, right? It is the natural process that, or natural state that the yogi stays in, that drives his actions or his activities.
Correct.
Okay. So one thing I always wondered was, if you think about animal lives, right? Any animal, pick an animal. They are not driven by. They don't have a mind like ours, right? So they are free of that, right? So they don't. But when they live exactly to what is tailored and needed for them, and nothing more or nothing less.
Correct.
Right?
They are closer to nature. Yes, they are closer to nature.
They are very close to nature, right? They might have, like a parent animal might have affection towards its kids, but then when the time comes, it leaves the kids, right? So how do you, what is the commonality of that state of close to nature to the state of mind of a yogi? Are they similar? What are the similarities and differences? I was just curious listening to what you just said.
You just broke there for 10 seconds or so. So I didn't get the question.
So my question was, what is the...
Is it me or everyone else is also breaking?
It's also breaking for me.
Yeah. So Kalyan, we lost you totally. Kalyan?
What are the similarities and differences? Is this better? Is this better?
It is better. It is better. We can hear you.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Yeah. So I get the question now, right? What are the similarities between yogi
the question
and
was,
then
what
animal?
are the similarities and differences? Yeah.
Between yogi
Yes.
and... So for animals and yogi, the first, the human beings, right? Human beings and animals, the major difference is buddhi. Right? Animals don't have buddhi, right? That's the number one thing. That's why they have samishti karma. They call, in the righteous living, they don't have any righteous living. They live in the moment. They eat, they let go, and they live, right? Walaki enti ante, the major difference is they don't have a karma that they can create. There is no reality creation for all the animals. The reason for that is they don't have buddhi. They don't have intelligence, number one. Now, when you compare that again as I am intelligent, I have my intelligence, okay? The question is for me and yogi, if I compare between me and yogi, what is the difference is yogi is using his intelligence, but his mind is switched off. I am using my intelligence, I am using my mind all the time, okay? I have both on. So what happens? It's called, in Upanishad language, it's called preyas karam, shreyas karam. If I am using my intelligence, I do things through my heart. It becomes more shreyas karam. It's a long-term benefit for me. I do things in a big picture. If I don't use my intelligence, which is my mind, which is short-sighted, and in the moment, it doesn't know good, bad, or evil. It just does what it wants to do. It's called preyas karam. Preeti do jesta. So what happens is, when you do with preeti, you are incurring karma, because it has nothing to do with the righteous living. It has nothing to do with scripture way of looking at things. It has nothing to do with the advanced soul, concept, soul consciousness. It has nothing to do any of that, because mind is active, mind is worldly. Mind will always do the things that it wants to do in any given point of time. So for a yogi, that whole process is off. How did it become off? Is through his breath. Once you start to go inside and you understand that breath, wherever it goes, you get connected with the breath. At that point, there is no mind.
So one just to a follow-up question. I got what you're saying. So basically what we're saying is, so generally buddhi is associated with the mind, right? So buddhi is associated with the mind. So if yeah, because if you don't have mind / intelligence, you really don't have buddhi.
No, buddhi is intelligence.
Right. So it is associated with the mind.
It actually controls the mind. It is the intelligence that helps you to decide what your mind is saying, whether it is yes or no. It is the intel. It is like a mother. Your mind is like a kid. The buddhi or intelligence is like a mother. So when kid wants to go do things, right, it is the mother who helps what is good, what is bad. Is it okay to do it? Is it not okay to do it? So that is intelligence.
Got it. So you're saying the logical mind is different than the actual decision maker.
Oh, absolutely. Mano, buddhi, ahankara, chittam, right? All four are part of your mind. So the highest level is intellectual. This intellect can only be acted upon when you have the knowledge or the subjective, data for which you are able to decide through your mind. When the mind says that I want to do this versus that, what you should do this versus that, is your intelligence making a call at that time. Only when you have that knowledge. Otherwise, your mind will do whatever it wants to do, you go. And when you do things without thinking, just acting, that's animal. And for a yogi, he transcended this whole process. He became heart-centered. So one level above than everybody else. So what happens? It's not him doing anymore. He becomes a subject. He becomes an object for which the universal work starts to happen through him. So he became consciously aware that whatever is happening through me. I'm just a medium. Because he dissolved that I. The concept of I is dissolved for a yogi.
So there is no ego generating.
There is no ego generating. There is no Ravana there. There is never a Ravana because Ravana is symbol for ego. So there is no Ravana for yogi, because he brought all his, Dasaratha with Kausala. He brought his mind. He culminated with Ram through his Swasa, Pavanaputra, right? And he became aware through Lakshmana, right? The whole Ramayana process is happening inside. Now the ego is Ravana. When you drop your ego, you are connected to the universal consciousness. When there is absolutely no I am doing it, I am taking it, I am driving it. There is no I there. That is the state of a yogi. And that is the enlightened state one of, which is Aham Brahmasmi.
Yeah, very nicely explained. Thank you.
Thank you. So where does this whole process kick in? Is when you start to observe your breath and you become one with the breath. The number one thing, right? So the reason why we have to emphasize and keep listening about this subject alone is you are going outside. All of us are going outside to get something. All of us are going outside. I need to go to this temple. I need to go to this puja. I need to do this activity, this event, that event. All this outside thing, it just we are wasting. It is only, everything is happening inside. Where is happiness? Happiness is inside me. But what is happening? I'm looking for happiness outside. I'm running around for happiness outside. Happiness is not outside. Happiness is inside. So how do I tap onto happiness? Anyone wants to say this? How do I tap onto happiness?
I have to accept చేయడం ఏది జరుగుతున్నా యాక్సెప్ట్ చేసుకోవడం will give the happiness.
Not in entirely, but yes, a little bit. Durga, go ahead.
Anil garu. No ego.
Okay.
Adherence to nature.
Yes. Ante the answer to that question is basically you have to think more beyond. There is a very easier way to say this. Anyone else?
Yes. Not expecting from anybody or anything from any outcome.
It is, and to see all these are steps, right? The ultimate thing is where it how does it get to me? These are the steps that happen, right? Once I go inside, what is happening to me? What is the first thing that is coming to me? What is the second thing that is happening to me? What is the third thing? Anando divya janat anande najata nijivanti. How is that happening? So I'll give you the con. You want to go ahead, Durga? You have a question or?
I had a question. I'll wait.
Okay. So the process, what happens is when you connect yourself, that is the reason why Kriya and karma go together. You have to understand very clearly. It is the karma that is bringing us pain. Okay? It is the karma that is bringing us pain. Because when you do things out of the righteousness, outside of the righteousness living, it becomes bad karma. That bad karma brings pain. Whether it is a relationship issue, internal problems, external problems, family your own body problems, diseases, whatever you call, all that is because of this bad karma. Now, the first thing that happens earlier I spoke about it, right? When you start to associate yourself with the breath and you let the breath happen on its own, please underline this, on its own. And when you connect with that, this kriya process will go inside your system, which is also happening previously, but you are not aware, you are not conscious. Now you are consciously aware what is happening inside. Wherever your swasa, your breath is going inside, slowly the cleansing and healing and process starts, the karma starts to break. What happens at that moment is you will hit peace. The first thing that you get is shanti. It is a very, very important aspect. We probably, I cannot judge anybody here, right? So unless you have done a deeper level of penance, you have never seen what shanti means. That shanti, what you get is an ocean of shanti that you get, the calmness that you have inside. Only very deeper meditators, if you are doing for hours and hours and all, you feel that is nothing but bliss. That's the first thing you get. Without shanti, there is no ananda. Anandam won't come to you just like that. Happiness, getting inner happiness, it's not going to come just like that. That requires more penance. With the shanti comes ananda. That's the next state of it. Anando Brahma. How does you happen? Because you are not looking for anything outside. You are looking for everything inside. First thing, when you talk about expectations, when you talk about acceptance, when you talk about things that are coming to me as is, I'm taking in. All these are helping you to become calm, to become very centered, to become very balanced. This is, again, all these are mine. Remember, all these are mine. I'm not expecting anything doesn't mean that my mind is not there. Your mind is still there. Right? There is a saying, right? I'm gonna take over my mind. There is nothing like taking over mind. It doesn't happen. You consciously being aware of your mind, and you know exactly where you want to put your mind into. It means that you have control of your mind. You decide what thoughts you want to process, right? What thoughts you wanted to take, and how you move them around. That can only happen when your karma breaks. Buddhi karma anusari, right? Your intelligence has to expand very, 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 very heavy, right? I mean, with the knowledge. Unless you have an absolute wisdom, it is not just possible to make your mind empty. Just by sadhana alone, you cannot do it. What happens with my sadhana? I am getting a lot of energies, but that energy, I don't know what is happening to me. So it's more or like, without knowledge, that's why we call it ignorance. It is you're getting, I'm having this feeling, I'm seeing this, I'm doing that, I have this vision, I have that. All these things, whatever you are talking, these are all happening at a mind level. Even if things are happened at shunya, you're able to see things, you're able to pari or mahapari shunya, you still don't know what it is. So it is ignorance. We have to transcend beyond all those states, and you have to become one with that state itself. What you're observing, what you're actually doing, and what is the outcome of that, all three should become one. At that point, you don't talk about experience. You just live that experience. That is the state a yogi is always be. That's why when even if he's outside, even if he's inside, he's always in that state. So it is through the Kriya Yoga, the natural Kriya Yoga, as everybody takes birth to go through their karma. But when you become Kriya Yogi, what happens? Everything happens naturally. You start to dissolve the karma process. You start to become more soul conscious. You start to become aware. Everything that is happening within you and outside you, you are not reacting, you're just responding. This lot of these terms we talk in the past, and everybody talks about it. But how do you achieve that? It is only through your breath and being conscious of your breath. And the second thing, which is most important, is how are you taking your breath? Right now, all of us, whenever you talk about I, if you can, you go do this practically yourself, you will understand. When you are connected to I, when a person is with ego, when a person is very, very centered, not centered, right? He's very erratic in his behavior. You watch, his breath is very shortened. Our breath will get shortened if we are with ego. You will never be able to do belly breath. It is not going to happen. Only people who can do belly breathing all the time is the ones who really have a balance in his mind, who have calmed their mind. Only then the belly breathing happens. For them, you become witness. When you become witness, you accept everything what is happening to you. You don't expect anything from other person. Expectations and acceptance. These are mind qualities. You have to transcend these two. What happens? Your mind, when something happens in a situation, your mind says, I'm not accepting, I got to fight it. It's a nature of mind. Number two, you are expecting something out of it. Why am I fighting? Because I'm expecting a different outcome here. That's why I'm fighting. When you go beyond your mind, there is a state that is above mind. That you can only get through your breath. And that is the reason the entire yoga system, no matter which type of yoga, hatha yoga, right? Laya yoga. In the Maha Yoga, they talk about 4 yogas, right? Hatha yoga, Laya yoga, your regular, what is this, Kriya Yoga and Karma Yoga, sorry, Raja Yoga. In all these, what is the common thing? Breath. Breath work is a common thing. Go ahead, Durga. You have a question?
Yes. You said, breathing from the belly button, right? Is it something which happens with your state of meditative state going up, or is it something we should do? If we are doing it, it becomes kriya, and that is it should. I mean, it should come naturally, right? It's not something we want to do, like breathing from the abdomen.
See, there are two things here, right? We are all born with that belly breath. If you look at the small kids, 1-year-old, 2-year-olds, and all that, you see them, their stomach expands, and then when they're, then the breath, goes out, right? It exhales, it comes down. That is the natural way of breath. It happens on its own. So over a period of time, tensions, stress, implants, memories, right? The living standards, the food we take, the places you go, all of that have contributed for us to shorten our breath process. So now my ego is fully consumed, right? I'm totally with my ego right now. So what happens? There is no way our breath can go beyond the lungs. Sometimes it only goes here. Most of the time it's here, lungs. So how do I bring it back? Is you being consciously aware of it. Yes, it is kind of a karma initially, because the practice, the natural practice that you had when you were born, you lost it. So how do you bring it back? By practicing again. Okay. There will be a little bit of practice that you need to inculcate in your habit on a daily basis to say that I'm gonna start to breathe through my belly consciously. When this happens for a couple of days, right, couple of weeks, whatever may be the cycle of it, it comes back to natural state. At that point, it happens automatically. But until that time, you have to consciously do that. See, when we are talking about in my belly, I have got my 272,000 nadis that are connected to my entire system. Okay, if my prana is not reaching there, what good it is? It's a simple question, right? Every one of us have to talk about it. Every one of us have to really think about it. We have to ponder on this, right? Deep thinking has to come. When 272,000 that is connecting my entire system, right? My entire nadi process is working through my belly, and I am not able to bring the prana, that is the only one that can clean, heal, and process everything within that nadis. I'm never giving that prana to here. So what good it is? So instead, I'm accumulating more karma by using I, ego. With ego, I'm accumulating karma. With Ravana in me, I'm accumulating bad karma, right? With no Ravana, I became Rama, right? Through my breath. Yeah. So it is very, very important. There are certain aspects, right? So a lot of times we talk about this also, right? That, you should not put any sankalpa. Let the universe give you what you want to do. Because I have a severe leg pain. I cannot even sit. What good is that sankalpa? Without sankalpa, what good it is? I cannot even sit. How can I even prosper in my sadhana, right? So in cases like that, you have to have it. In a similar case, when you look at the belly breathing, I lost it. I had it, I lost it. So I need to bring it back. What do? Consciously keep doing it. Sadhanamuna panalu samaku, right? Yeah. With practice, everything becomes reality.
Okay, thank you.
So if you come back to the discussion, the Kriya Yoga dissolves the karmic process in my system. Why is this karmic process coming in? We talked about the DNA, the cells, the ATP, wherever it is actually holding it. That's where it is all holding it, right? And that's where it's actually putting it out. I've got my leg pain. What happened? The cells in that area of my leg has no prana. There is no prana. There is no prana shakti flowing into my leg area, because of which I am not able to, I have a pain now. The cells became inactive. Our cells died. So what happens? That area starts to swell. That area starts to develop little bit pain. Over time, it stays. Eventually, it comes to a point where my entire leg area is no longer active. I feel the pain. I go through the pain. I know what it takes for me to fix the pain, but yet I do not do my belly breathing. Because one, I am not aware of it. Two, I don't have time. I have a busy life. The so-called material life, I'm so busy. So where you end up going to a doctor who is in turn making it worse for you. The reason is they actually look at that problem as a problem. They don't go to the root of it. They look at the problem as a problem, and they're going to give you steroids or they're going to give you painkillers to say that this cell is not working. I'm going to completely disconnect this cell. It doesn't work that way. You cannot disconnect a cell on your own. It has to happen naturally. So what happens? You instead added another 100 pounds of a problem into it. So eventually you will have side effects that come out of that problem, and you go through other issues. That's the bottom line, right? You may subside the pain. You may subside a feeling. You can do that with medicines, right? That area will become numb. You can happily walk. You can do your things, but the root of the problem still stays in your system, because the root is coming from your third body, mental body or intuitional body. That is where the things are happening. The root of it is there. You never went to that level. The prana never reached to that part of the body to be able to do that cleansing, healing, and cleaning process. Hence, you go through that karma. That's what we call karma. When the healing happens through your breath, and you go there, instead you start to breathe, take the deeper breath. You start to sit every day 10 minutes, take a deeper breath. You practice it. You send it into your system. When you are sending it to your system, have that wonderful feeling that my karma is getting cleansed up. My nadi mandala is getting shuddhi. What happens? Immediately your intention. Its intention is your direction. The swasa goes inside. The prana goes inside. Immediately it goes into the areas where you actually have put the intention. Cleaning and healing process will happen automatically. And that's how you dissolve your karma. Such a easiest way of dissolving all the problems that we have, worldly problems, any problem, it is because of lack of being conscious, right? And when you become breath aware, breath conscious, you are able to bring all of that into a balanced situation. And the next time when something happens to you, you don't run around. You sit and think about it. And then once you think about it, you will know that, okay, with belly breathing, I should be able to resolve this problem. Truth is always very, very, very simple. We made it complicated because we think that we can catch hold of truth through our mind. The biggest illusion is you think that you can catch, right? The logic mind, you will know the truth. You cannot know. Yato vacha nivartante aprapya manasa saha. It is only through becoming self-aware and witnessing, right, that you become that. I am that I am. It doesn't happen at the mind level. So when I do not connect, the reason why my life is the way it is, it's because my mind is active. It is my mind that is making me go through all this karma. So the shift has to come. Why I need to do meditation? It has nothing to do with ritual. It has nothing to do with anything. It is for my life. Forget about enlightenment. Forget about I want a higher advanced sadhana. I want this siddhi. I want to do astral travel. I want to astral projections. I want third eye. Forget all that. I want to have my life in my control. I want to live a very happy, balanced, calm life. शांति से जीने का है, आराम से हैप्पीली जीने का है. जो भी जहां तक 100 साल जिए, 200 साल जिए, डजंट मैटर. जब तक यहाँ पे है, तब तक शांति से आराम से जीने का है। कैसा होएगा? श्वास को पकड़ने का। तो if you really look at it, everybody talks about it at every level, right? That's why you have like more than 112 techniques of meditations. You have so many different ways to look at this. But yet, the only person who succeeds is the one who is holding on to it. Talking is only point, not 1%. It is in the doing, that practice. When you bring that into your life, when you bring that meditation into your life, you start to become that, you start to live that. And the second best thing that will happen to all of us when you are with meditation is you start to live in the moment. When mind becomes calm, when mind is balanced, it is centered, immediately what you start to do is you start to enjoy the moments. Enjoy every moment, every moment. You are living in the moment. वर्तमान वर्तमान वर्तमान, जिंदगी पूरा वर्तमान पे चलेगा. Past, I don't worry anymore. If I forget the past, there is no sorrow for me. Sadness is gone in my life. If I don't worry about my future, there is no fear in me. Worst enemies for every one of us. Everyone. Worst enemies for human beings. जब मैं पीछे जाता हूं, क्या होगा? वहां पे ऐसा हुआ, क्या जिंदगी है यार, वहीं पे अटक गया. You get sad. जब मैं फ्यूचर के लिए I think about it 5 years down the line, I don't know man, how my life is going to be. I just don't know. Fear, unknown fear. With these two things, you are missing the moment, the present. There is only one thing that we have in control, living in the present moment. Then and there से here and now पे आने का. That automatically happens if you are with your breath. Because when you come back to your breath, you are in the present moment. So, not just for my spiritual upliftment, not just for enlightenment, not just for becoming so and so, I want this siddhi, that siddhi. It is also for my daily life. I don't want to go through medical bills. I don't want to go to hospital. I don't want to go to see doctors, taking appointments and all. I want to just live happy life, right? With my family. Enjoy. जो भी आएगा आराम से. And conscious living, conscious parenting, conscious watching yourself, right? Making sure that you are doing the right thing. And for this to happen, there are qualities that we need to inculcate in qualities that we need to really bring in our life. Righteous living, right? धर्म मार्ग में चलने का, अहिंसा से जीने का, right? शास्त्रों को पढ़ने का, गुरु के साथ जोड़ने का, जो गुरु बोलता है उसके साथ जोड़ के जीने का, जो सेवा करते हैं, right? बिना कुछ पाए सेवा करने का, selfless service. I am doing this service for sake of service. I am not expecting anything out of it. The joy that you get out of that is 1,000 times or 10,000 times more powerful than what you're getting in watching a movie. जब कोई आपको आके, आप मेडिटेशन हम लोगों को सिखाया, ये मेडिटेशन हम लोग सीख के, ये प्रॉब्लम को हम लोग, we were able to come out of it. We are so happy. जब that is where the joy is. That is where the real happiness is. Why do we do the reason why we do selfless सेवा? ये सेवा में उतना आनंद मिलता है, उतना शांति मिलता है, जब कोई आके हम लोगों को बोलते कि यार ये जो मेडिटेशन आप सिखाया, ये मेडिटेशन करने के बाद मेरा लाइफ में ये चेंज हो गया है. I was able to come down. मैं सालों से नींद नहीं आ रहा था, अभी मैं आराम से सो रहा हूँ. That's a beautiful thing. That is the real happiness. When those moments come to us, it gives us more energy to do more work, spiritual work, right? More universal work. We need to go out, we need to spread, we need to do this, we need to do that. क्यों आता है ऐसा अंदर से? Because you're really feeling that happiness inside. Selfless service से आता है. तो क्रिया योग ऐसा कर्मा को निकालने के लिए क्रिया योगा लेके आओ। क्रिया योगा कहाँ पे है? मेरे इस पे ही है, चल रहा है ऑटोमेटिक। उसके साथ जुड़ने का है। जुड़ने के लिए क्या करने का है? प्रैक्टिस प्रैक्टिस प्रैक्टिस। देयर इज नथिंग अदर देन प्रैक्टिस। ओनली विथ योर consistent practice you will become one with your breath, and once you become one with the breath with a no mind state, oh my god, that is such a blissful state that it's pity that the entire world population is missing it, and the ones who are getting it are the lucky ones, because they really know what it is, what it means, what bliss means, right? What real happiness means, what peace means. All these so-called material peace, material happiness, oh मेरे oh आराम couch में बैठा है, आराम है यार, वो सब nothing, not even point not 1%. तो उसके लिए एक ही साधना, श्वासों के साथ जुड़ो। जो श्वास चल रहा है उसको do not disturb that, do not get in the way of your breath. Observe, witness your breath all the time, witness your breath. खाना बना रहा है, witness your breath. बहुत शुद्ध बनेगा खाना. And the other thing, there is one other topic I want to check, साधना के लिए क्या करने का है. जब हम लोग सेवा करने जाते हैं, there is also an element, right? जब मैं किसी के साथ बात कर रहा हूँ, how is my energy getting exchanged? Through my breath, it is getting exchanged. It is the breath, the prana that I have developed in my system, or I have contained in my system over a period of whatever number of years you are doing, whatever the penance you are doing, you have accumulated so much of high energies. When you connect with other person, if he doesn't have the energies, it is through your breath that he gets those energies. And then he starts to connect with you. तो इसीलिए जब सेवा के लिए काम करने का, when you are doing universal work, when you are doing spiritual work, in PSSM, when you are doing anything on PSSM, don't bring your mind. When you bring your mind, you are holding the breath. Your breath is not, at that point, it became your own breath. It is not the universal breath. It is not the happening breath. It is the doing breath. Karma हो गया वहां पे. Karma क्या करेगी? I don't know whether he's going to come or not. He never saw this. He never, the logic mind kicks in and then pura jayega. Never, ever, ever bring your mind when you are doing spiritual work. Spiritual work has to happen at a no mind state. You should not think about other person's priorities, other person's life. You should never judge, never comment, never complain. Only at that moment you are with the pure consciousness. वो pure intention के साथ जब करते हैं, universe will help and then make it happen. I'll give you an example. Jnana Mahachakra, what we ran for Jnana Mahachakra, when we started that project, we were not even $5,000. Not even $5,000. Okay? It was more than 60 or 70, whatever the final number is. I started to think about it, right? What do I do? Right? I need that money. I need a lot of money to make this happen. How do we do it? Right? Sat on a meditation. And we said intention, right? Universe ko hum log bole, this is a universal work. Why am I worried? I should not be worried. We'll do meditation. We'll bring the energies and everything will happen. Today, with that little amount, right? That expanded. And today we are in a surplus situation. The only reason the whole thing happened is we actually believed and there was no mind state. The meditations happen at no mind state. When you become connected to your breath and become pure consciousness at a universal level, the universe will start to send things out to you. We talked about conscious mind, subconscious mind, unconscious mind. कैसा होता है साइंस के हिसाब से, नियोकॉर्टेक्स में कैसा, लिम्बिक ब्रेन में क्या होता है, सेरिबेलम में क्या होता है, वो साइंस के हिसाब से हम लोग बात कर लिया ऑलरेडी. But then when you connect all of that, when I don't put my mind into it, when I don't start thinking, my mind is limited. And the work that is happening is happening at unlimited capacity. It's happening in multi-dimension level. It is happening in my astral level. It is happening in my physical level, right? I have absolutely no clue how the work is getting done. But masters are connecting. Masters are able to get the work done. Only if I am pure, the work happens through me. So for every one of us, one of the way we can judge or we can see our own growth is how much of the spiritual work you are able to do. That's your testimony. That's your test to see whether you are spiritually grown or not. I have been doing meditation for 15 years, sir, but I have never done spiritual work. Means that you never are pure. You are thinking that you are pure, but you're not. Because when you become pure, masters will work with you. You will start to give. जैसा आता है वैसा देने का भी रहता है, पड़ता है, देना पड़ता है. When you understand in the universal consciousness, you will also give stuff. So anything that happens at a universal level, any spiritual work that you're doing, especially in PSSM work, remember that you should never bring your mind into it. You always need to be in a miraculous thinking. 4 types of thinking, right? Disastrous thinking, negative thinking, positive thinking, miraculous thinking. You always have to associate yourself to the miraculous thinking when you are doing spiritual work. It is mandatory. It is very, very important. Otherwise, you cannot move a step. Teruku, you will not be able to see the next step at a physical level. You cannot. It happens at an astral level. Unless you are connected to those energies, you won't be able to transcend the physical. You have to go beyond the time, environment, and body. That only comes when you become one with the breath. Again, a lot of these things come to us with practice of meditation, right? A lot of us say that I'm doing meditation one day, I don't do meditation other day. All this is your mind drama. At the end of the day, your mind is winning. Every day, at the end of the day, you did not get opportunity to do meditation means your mind won. You lost. The identity of I exists. When the identity of I exists, you cannot accomplish. Spiritually, you cannot accomplish much. So start to think from that perspective, right? Start to shift your energies. The moment you start to shift your energies, the moment you become a medium, the moment you become a channel, you start to see a tremendous growth, a tremendous development, a tremendous change, or a shift in your energy system within yourself and surrounding you. You will really see that what is going on. Something that I used to really go through pain and agony and all, is no longer there, right? I'm so free. But that can only happen with a long-term penance, right? It cannot come overnight. Unless you have already done it in your past lives and all that, it's not going to happen. So start to bring meditation into your life and then understand that any technique is not going to help you. Every other technique that is out there in meditation is only making your mind more hyper, more active. जब मैं एक आइडल को देखता हूँ, शिवा को पकड़ता हूँ, किसके आधार पे शिवा को देख रहा हूँ मैं अंदर? मेरा माइंड के आधार पे देख रहा हूँ. तो माइंड को बढ़ा रहा हूँ मैं. माइंड को निकलने का है. माइंड का पावर को नीचे करने का है. सोल का पावर को ऊपर लेने का है, ऊपर लेके आने का है. ये कहाँ पे बैलेंस हो रहा है? आइडल के पकड़ेगा तो आइडल को देखता ही रहेगा. आइडल के साथ मेरा माइंड भी पावरफुल हो जाए. As my mind becomes more powerful, my blissful state, my peace, my whole happiness, those are forget it. Nahi dhyanena atmani pashyanti. Through dhyana, you will become that soul awareness. The soul awareness can only happen if your mind is absent, mind is nil. अपना आई के, अपना सोल के बीच में माइंड है. इसको निकालने का है, इसको सुलाने का है. इसको निकाल नहीं सकते. Yeah, please.
క్వశ్చన్ అండి. ఇప్పుడు బ్రెత్ మీద ఫోకస్ చేస్తున్నప్పుడు కూడా నాకు మైండ్ ని కొంచెం ఎనర్జైజ్ చేయాల్సి వస్తుందేమో అనిపిస్తోంది. అంటే ఇప్పుడు ఐడల్ మీద చేసినప్పుడు మనకి పవర్ వస్తుంది కదా అంటారు. అలా బ్రెత్ మీదకి కూడా కొంచెం ఏదో ఒక ఫోకస్ చేసుకుంటున్నాం కదా.
అంటే ఏంటంటే అండి, బ్రెత్ వెన్ యు ఆర్ ఫోకస్, వెన్ యు సే ఫోకస్, ఇట్స్ కర్మ, యు ఆర్ డూయింగ్ ఇట్. వెన్ యు సే యు ఆర్ bringing your attention, so you have to, the terms are different, right? Attention means something that is happening, you just brought your attention to it, right? You just moved your, like TV is going on there.
జెంటిల్ గా తీసుకురావడం, ఫోకస్
Exactly.
కాకుండా.
Exactly. So what happens is, it is happening, irrespective whether you do it or you don't do it, this happens. I am just not consciously aware of it. So what this practice of bringing that attention does for you is, you will become consciously aware of this subtle movement of your breath, and not only just the inward and outward movement, in the inside, where all it's going, right? Where is my breath going inside my body? Which parts it's going? How it is expanding? When nadi pe jata hai, nadi pe kaisa ja raha hai? I don't see all that today, because I don't have that subtle energies or system that I have established myself to be able to go to that level, third level, fourth level. So how do you get that? As you become one with the breath, you slowly start to feel where the breath is going in your entire system. Kahan pe ja raha hai, kya kar raha hai? And you release that excellent, beautiful intention, saying that jaisa swas prana shakti andar ja raha hai, waisa hi mera cleansing process, healing process ho raha hai. And then you start to become healthy, in a couple of days. How does that happen? Because the intention, jo kriya ho raha hai, wo kriya ko aap direction diya. Intention is direction, right? So it automatically happens. Now the question what you're asking is, hey, am I going to use my mind to do that? At the start of it, you have to, right? When I say, hey, sit and close your eyes and do meditation, you don't feel your breath. You say, that's a mind activity, right? You consciously did it. But after that, slowly you start to slow it down. As long as you have thoughts, as long as there is a flip-flop happening, the mind is still there. That's the reason when you sit into meditation, it may take couple of cycles for all of us, right? 41 days, whatever the time that we keep, right? It takes that cycle for you to really bring that mind into a very balanced state. First of all, it is my mind that is not allowing me to sit and be part of my breath. Mind beech mein aata hai, aake bolti hai, no, you cannot do it. This is not for you. Let it happen. There is lot going on. टीवी पे मूवी चल रहा है, बच्चे वहां पे बैठ के पिज्जा खा रहे हैं, राइट? बीवी काम कर रही है, तो जरा सास के साथ बैठ के क्या कर रहे हैं? That's mine, right? So I think that shift will come. It is only with practice you can shift it. Everybody, every one of us will think that I'm doing 2-day practice, I'm going to get. No, it is a lifetime practice. Yoga is not something anena yunjate iti yogaha karmatu kausalya, right? Chitta vritti yogaha chitta vritti nirodha. Chitta means mind ko you are bringing, right, total silence in your mind. It doesn't happen just like that. It is a constant practice. अभी एक को 1 महीने में हो सकता है, एक को 1 साल लग सकता है, 10 साल लग सकता है, 20, it doesn't matter. However time, that is the only sadhana we have, is to make my mind empty and live happily with peace. We'll take a couple of questions and then we'll start meditation. Any questions?
అనిల్ గారు, నాకు ఒక క్వశ్చన్ ఉందండి.
Yeah, please.
So you do not expect anything, you accept, you learn to accept it, and you practice or learn to witness it అనుకుంటాం కదా, అంటారు కదా. సో మనం ఎంత ప్రాక్టీస్ చేసి ఎంత ధ్యానం చేసినా మనం మధ్య మార్గంలో ఉన్నందుకు మళ్ళీ మన బుద్ధి న్యాచురల్ గా రియాక్ట్ అవుతూ ఉంటుంది సిచ్యువేషన్స్ కి.
మైండ్
ఆ టైంలో మైండ్ న్యాచురల్ గా రియాక్ట్ అవుతున్నప్పుడు మన బుద్ధి ఆ మైండ్ ని ఎలా ఆ టైంలో ఎంత అవేర్ ఉన్నాం అనుకున్నా ఆఫ్టర్ ఆల్ హ్యూమన్ బీయింగ్స్ లాగా రియాక్ట్ అవుతూ ఉంటాం కదా. ఆ టైంలో ఎలా మన బుద్ధి మైండ్ ని కామ్ డౌన్ చేయాలో లేకపోతే ఎలా ఎడ్యుకేట్ చేయాలో అది ఒకసారి చెప్తారా?
Yeah, absolutely. And a good question, right? How do I, when I'm going through my movements in the day,
Correct.
English lo cheptran, doing my movements in the day, how do I use my intelligence to be able to bring control to that particular movement, right? To be able to balance that movement. See, the best way
Correct.
to look at is, one is the knowledge, right? The knowledge that you need to understand is, what is this whole system? How is this process works? What happens inside? What happens? That knowledge, right, will help us in one way. Now, with that knowledge, being in that moment, when you are in that moment, what happens is, it is not the intelligence that's kicking in and making it happen. It is the awareness that you have to come back to your breath to slow down that activity, right? So what happens when I am angry at a particular instance of it, right? I shouted, okay? In that moment, it is the emotion, the feeling that you created within you, that is the one that's carrying the cellular karma, right? It is not about you shouting it. It is not about you looking at it. Nothing is really, the senses are not the one playing. It is the inside feeling and the emotion that you generated because of that, the chemical reaction that happened, and your cellular process, whatever is going through, that is the karma. So you have to detach from that feeling. You have to detach yourself from the emotion. So what does it mean? How does it come to me? By having a thorough knowledge of the entire process. What happens when I get angry? Outside, inside. Am I connected to that angry, or it is happening spontaneously? Sometimes what happens, you need to shout, but that shout has to be like acting. There is no inside emotion, there is no inside feeling that you're generating, that is actually happening, that is actually making it happen. It is coming to you spontaneously, and so for course correction, sometimes you have to shout, you shout it. But then the way you catch that is, the way you test yourself is, right after that moment, how is your state, right? Are you like, running around? Are you like, crazily, moving around? Are you like, you want to be alone? All those things means that you created a feeling, you created emotion, and that is karma. Number two, how do I break that shackle? Is I got to immediately be aware to come back to my breath. That awareness will bring you out of that karma. The intensity of the karma depends upon at what moment you are aware. It is very, very important. That's why awareness is the most important thing. What happens if I go through this whole system of being with the breath, becoming one with the breath, going inside, doing all that? I'm constantly aware. I'm not just externally aware, I'm internally aware as well. I'm with my subconscious mind now. So I know exactly what is going on in the entire system. So nothing goes without me approving it, because I am aware.
So that awareness doesn't have to be instantly. That awareness can be right after the moment, or eventually you realize it and then you calm down.
Yes.
That
Initially,
is fine too.
Yes, it is fine too. See, what happens is, it's like levels, right? The level one
Right.
is, you have done it, couple of days, you went through that whole process, and after that you realize, somebody told you and explained you, and then you realize. Second level would be, in a daytime, you probably realize it with somebody talking to you, you come back. The third levels is when it happened, right after the movement, why did this happen? Why did I do like this? That realization, right? That kicks into you. It's all about the level of awareness you have brought yourself. And the fourth level is, while it is happening, you'll start to be aware. So you reduce the intensity of the karma by not emotionally attaching, by not creating a feeling towards it, right? And then the fifth state is where you actually became aware as to, okay, this thing is come, I need to shout at it. All that you are able to see through it. You need subtle energies to do that. So once you start to see that, you get a thought that, hey, right now I need to shout. Let me shout. Right? After you shout it, you just become calm.
Okay. So from third
That
stage
is
to
where we
fifth
need.
stage to progress, the sadhana has to happen, right? Like to
Only through breath.
it's not like your buddhi telling you or anything. It has to
No.
come through energies.
It is the sadhana.
Okay.
Awareness has nothing, right? Controlling, actually bringing that mind into your hands is not something it's easy, right? Even in Bhagavad Gita, with abhyasa vairagya, you are able to bring the mind. Abhyasa means sadhana, your breath work, whatever the breath work you are doing. Vairagya means the knowledge that you acquired through which you understand the big picture. That is vairagya. Vairagya is intelligence level. Abhyasa is your sadhana. So with these two, you are able to bring control. You are able to bring balance in your mind. When that happens, everything you start to see. That's when the real drama you see outside, right?
Right. So as a follow-up question to this, so this part of like reaction or whatever is different when you deal with totally different people, or when you deal with your own family people or your own personal situation. How do I draw a line between, or how do I like cope up with the difference? How do I overcome that difference and treat everything the same?
See, that is where the universal consciousness, right? When you become aware of the universal consciousness, at that point, there is no I, there is no me, there is no we, all those are gone. It's called Vasudhaiva Kutumba, right?
Vasudhaiva Kutumba.
Yeah. So while you are doing your penance, at an equal state, you also need to start to do seva, selfless service. The fastest way to get to that state at a universal consciousness is through selfless service. Whether you are donating money to it, whether you are putting time to it, whether you are doing your labor work to it, in whatever way, whatever fashion, if you are able to work for spiritual work, right? There are a lot of sevas. Don't take this as a going and I'm doing this temple service, and that is again you're expecting something out of it. Yeah, I'm doing it. I'm doing temple service. I'm going and teaching this and all that. That is not spiritual. Spiritual service means you are connected to the truth, and truth alone should matter to you. The work that you are doing, the selfless work that you are doing, has to be connected to truth. That is spiritual work. That alone gives you the highest energies, and you become very close to enlightenment, right? Because through seva, selfless seva, you can also get enlightenment. So with that, if you have to, that's the reason in PSSM, these are two pillars, right? As you learn things, you also need to give it out, right? You also have to teach. Why this concept is, as much as I'm getting spiritually enlightened in the process of whole truth, I'm also starting to give it away. Through this giving process, my whole process, right? My own, like example is like, it takes about 100 years for me to get enlightened. Let's say I want to get it in 10 years. How do I do that? I do this spiritual seva. Truth, connected to truth. Anything that is connected to truth, if you are able to do service there, whatever type of service you do, it doesn't matter. You put your money, you do labor, you do time, whatever it is, doesn't matter. If you are able to connect to the truth and you do that service, that is the highest service you are doing. And it is the fastest it will grow, you'll grow. That means that awareness will come to you, the happiness will come to you, the joy, the peace. It's going to happen in a very, very, it's like going in a flight,
Right.
So,
okay. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank
really
you.
helped.
Good question. Anyone else? We have like 3 minutes before we get meditation started. So now, when we start to sit in meditation, masters, friends, let's not look at body, let's not look at mind, let's not forget all that, right? Just become aware of your breath. That's all we need to do. Just become aware of your breath and try to be with your breath. That's it. Try to be with your breath. You don't do anything. Be consciously aware of your breath. Just remember this: as you get thoughts, remind yourself to come back to breath. Before you sit in meditation, remind yourself. If you have not practiced enough, Your mind will go into thoughts, you'll be all over the place. Then you are wasting time. Always, initially, when you have started meditation new, sit down and tell your mind, tell yourself, you are instructing through your mouth, you are instructing your mind. Right? You instruct to your mind saying that when you are with the thoughts, come back to my breath. Come back to my breath. I need to be attentive on my breath. That's all matters. Everything else doesn't matter. And in a very, very short order, you will hit that void state. The state of no mind, the state of no thoughts, zero thought state, whatever the nirvanic state or meditative state, there are like so many ways you call that. At that state is when that entire system starts to cleanse. Entire process comes in. You can heal yourself. You can use pyramid. Whatever it may be. But we need to be able to empty our mind in a very, very fastest way. That practice is what we have to do. Don't put too many intentions. Don't go beyond your body. Don't go with your mind. Don't ask for material gains and all. All of this will slow down your enlightenment process. All right. With that, let's do meditation like 40-45 minutes. Please sit very comfortably. Take off your glasses. It's very important. Always take off your glasses. Drink some water if you want to. Sit comfortably. Relax yourself. Just take a deep breath. You take 2 or 3 deep breaths, right? Dirgha Khalika Pranayama. You will be able to release all the toxins, all those things that you are holding up emotionally, mentally and physically. Everything comes out. At that state, you become like in the moment kind of a thing. Then slowly make sure that you just tell yourself that my body is totally relaxed. I'm ready to go within. And then you tell yourself to your mind that, hey, when I get into thoughts, I need to come back to my breath. Please come back to my breath. This is, you're instructing your mind. You're commanding your mind. And very slowly, as you relax, as you bring your mind in the state, slowly start to bring your attention to the breath. Just observe that natural, normal, soft, tender, tranquil, beautiful and wonderful breath. Nothing else matters, my dear friends. This is all it is. This is the essence of life. This is what it is. Becoming one with the breath is the only greatest sadhana that we all have to practice. Be one with your breath. You will experience the soul consciousness through breath. A wonderful state, a blissful state that will stay for hours, days, weeks, months, years, decades to come. I will stop the recording here.